my devotion for children really goes way back. There are things that I had gone through as a child that I would really want to change for the children of this generation and, of course, the generation that is to come. And by bridging that gap now, developed that devotion to making sure that children are in a safe and they're living a happy childhood. Yeah, so.
For the people that do not know, especially myself, could you explain more about the Southern African
Youth
Youth
Forum.
Forum?
Yeah, so the Southern African Youth Forum is, as I mentioned, it's a regional organization which is youth led, and it operates within 16 countries of the SADC region, the Southern African Development Community. And what we do is to making sure that young people in the region are well represented, especially in the policy advocacy spaces, on governance, issues of peace and security, issues of health, environment, politics, culture, Pan-Africanism, because we believe that there's a reason why they formulated and created this region and came together to cooperate. And so there's also a need for young people to be involved during these processes. So that is why we have the platform to represent the young people of the SADC region.
Okay. And you said you deal with children. So what are the specific problems that are facing the children that you're dealing with?
Okay, so I devoted to children and currently have an NGO
Okay.
for children known as Watoto Africa initiative, and that specifically deals with the issues of mental health for children. It deals with gender-based violence and violence against children, but also health and well-being of children, because if you think and look on things, children are the foundation of the adults that we see, the adults
Okay.
that we are. Whatever it is that you went through when you were young,
Yeah.
probably are the results of who you are now. So hence Watoto Africa, and hence I am doing what I'm doing to kids.
Well, that's a bit about Vivian, and I hope we'll get to know more. I mean, not I hope, I know we will get to know more about her as we proceed forward. Now, Musa talked about the Connectors Club experience. You attended Connectors Club, I think it was your first time, right? What were your initial thoughts when you attended this event featuring Vusi Thembekwayo?
Okay, so first of all, the word itself, the word of the event itself, the platform, Connectors Club. My journey is carried so much with the connectedness I have with people. My social capital is key to everything that I do. I am where I am as much as we have faith and believe in God, but I also believe God uses people to connect me to my opportunities. So it intrigued me to wanting to know what is happening in this Connectors Club. It's unfortunate this is the third time and it was my first time to attend, but then that initially gave me that curiosity to know how do people connect. And of course, getting to understand that it was Vusi coming through this event, that means it was a big deal for me because he's someone that I also look up to as a public figure. There are so many young people that look up to me, but I also have people that I look up to, and
Okay.
him being one of them. So I was certain even the type of people that would be convening to that event will have specifics of things that I want and I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And I think that was the reason why I initially wanted to attend. But of course, the fact that we are connecting to young people,
Yes.
I believe it is okay and it is important for we young people to create opportunities for other young people to thrive. So if you've reached a certain step, then it's also key for you to create a space for other people to reach where you are. So
The best thing that I learned throughout the event of Mr. Vusi, I think we talked about it, was mostly sales, because of the whole sales process that we went through with Mr. Vusi, and also personal branding. I really love the way he brands himself, the way he prices himself, and the way people look at him. I believe all of that is not just by luck, it's very well planned. So, what did you learn from Mr. Vusi? What were your key takeaways that you left with?
well, I have one word for that. What I learned from Vusi Thembekwayo himself is how intentional he is.
Okay.
He is very intentional. he didn't do things just the normal way. You know, when someone is huge, he has a name, he has a brand, as you've mentioned, he has a whole team behind him.
Yeah.
All over the world know about him. And then he could have chosen to do it, you know, at an under rate or just like a normal event, but he gave his all. He was intentional about his coming. He was intentional when he came, how he delivered his messages to young people. Even the VIP event at Hayat, he was giving himself out.
Yeah.
And it is something that I think we as young people should also learn, that no matter how important people may make you feel about yourself or how you feel about yourself, it is good to be intentional in what you deliver. So it has really boosted up my determination and dedication to what I am currently doing, so that I can, you know, stay committed and keep the brand and maintain it to that value. Yes.
So to go over the question that Musa was talking about, the question was talking about how to create a female version of Vusi. First of all, do you aspire to become a public speaker?
Well, I think I already am, just not to that extent, but I think with the platforms that I've been to, with the audience on social media that I have, whatever it is that I share, I'm speaking to the public. So automatically I am a public speaker.
So what was the inspiration behind the question of creating a female version of Vusi Thembekwayo?
First of all, apart from him being as valuable as he is and the brand that he carries, he's God-fearing. That is something that I've learned. If you watch his contents, you will find there's that niche of spirituality in him, that component that I found similarity between him and I. And what I think there's a gap that I lacked, and I saw him and his personality and the way he drives himself, that if I happen to learn the steps he took, what it takes to become him, I may feel that gap in my journey. So not entirely becoming Vusi, but entirely to understand what drives him, what keeps that momentum going, so that I also don't lose track. And creating a female version of Vusi, that is a very powerful figure, and especially that now we say future is female, and I think it will be a very huge result for me. And yes, it is, and of course, it is how intentional he is. And I think a lot of young people, especially if I give myself an example, there are certain opportunities, or maybe there are certain things that I sometimes maybe take for granted, but having seen that you've reached where you are and you still take every little thing very considerately and very important. So I think that is one thing that I've carried. And of course, I would maybe make a better version of Vusi. As he said, I should become better than him. So I'm
We're
looking
here to see
forward.
that.
Me too. I can't wait.
Vusi has an attention to details that is unmatched, because I remember when he came here, you know, we didn't pay him about $40, you know. He really paid attention to that $40, even though we had paid more before. So that really showed me that this guy has like proper attention to details. Yeah.
Exactly
What
what
about
I'm talking
that?
about.
Yeah.
But it's also about having a nice team behind you.
Everything he puts into consideration. When he says, I need 2 screens, it's 2 screens. When he says, there should be Wi-Fi, there must be Wi-Fi. Yeah.
And it's as you said, everything is intentional. That's how you grow. You discussed yourself how you said how connections have made you get where you are. Now we stress about this a lot of times. In most of our episodes, you see us talking about networking. You see us talking about connecting with other people. For the people that didn't attend Connectors Club, or for the people that don't think connections is important, what do you have to say to them? And maybe you could give a testimony of how networking through events or through by meeting people has helped you impact your professional journey.
First of all, I've been meaning to say this. It has been a while ever since I've had a conversation through a media or podcast. And one thing that I think I also had that back in the days before I learned, I think we confuse or we mistake the meaning of connection, because mostly or majority of the people that I feel mistaken this is because when you meet certain